Kyrie Irving was also at USA Basketball practice yesterday, but he was in street clothes. And Irving said he has been back on the court for a few months, but the recovery from the infection in his knee was a long bleep in 2 months. Kyrie says he will easily be ready to go for the first day of training camp. He also said he's nothing but excited to lead the Celtics, but said they haven't started yet, so everyone is 0-0 right now. The most important thing right now is finding our cohesion, pointing out that he and Hayward basically haven't played together yet. So I asked you this, Mace, how much pressure is on Kyrie this season?
I think there is a lot of pressure on Kyrie, and there's no question the talent coming back for the Boston Celtics is unbelievable. You're able to add Kyrie Irving and add Gordon Hayward, but it's really going to be incumbent on Kyrie Irving to find a way to integrate that young group, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Terry Rozier. That team, I'll tell you what, that group played extraordinarily well in the postseason. They pushed the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James to the limit. And now Kyrie has got to figure out a way to make it work, and it's going to be his job to make it work.
I think that I disagree with you. I don't think there's any pressure on Kyrie Irving. As a matter of fact, I would argue that Kyrie Irving should be one of the early favorites to win the NBA MVP award. LeBron should win it every year. I've been following LeBron's career. LeBron in that way is Michael Jordan. He's the best player in the league.
Especially now, you're the voice of the Lakers.
Sure, but I mean, I would vote for LeBron every year anyway. Right. But the award, we know this, is a traveling award that normally goes to the best player on the team with the best record. Mace, how many games did Kyrie Irving play last year? Take a guess.
Just a handful.
Yeah, take a guess. Out of 82.
He played 20.
He played 60.
60.
Yeah, people think because he missed the end of the season that he didn't have a good year.
And he played real well.
By the way, they were 44 and 16 in those games.
Right, but you wouldn't disagree with the fact that those guys emerged in a different way once Kyrie was off the floor and had a lot of success. And finding touches for everybody is going to be up to Kyrie Irving to make that work.
Get in here, Nick. What do you think?
I think that's part of the reason why there's a lot of pressure on Kyrie, because they played so well after he left and into the playoffs. And if he comes back and they don't play well, the easy excuse or the easy explanation that people are going to jump to is that Kyrie is the problem. And I think that given the fact that he only has 2 years left on his contract and there's speculation that he may not want to be there long term, I think that the Celtics would prefer to build long term while Kyrie is the best player on the team today. I think Jason Tatum is the piece that they want to build their franchise around long term. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Kyrie, and it's going to be difficult to be reintegrated into that offense because they figured out a way to play without him. And I guess you could try to just give him back the minutes that Rozier is taking, but I don't know that that's enough. And he's not the defensive presence that I think that a guy like Tatum can grow to be, given his size and strength. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him to prove his worth and to prove that team is better with him, because we know that adding a better player doesn't always make your team better.
Dominique, I would argue that he's already learned how to play with these guys. Remember, he played 60 games.
Right,
He made the All-Star team. No, why was it different? They started 22-4 with him. He knows how to play with these guys. When he was there, I would argue that if Kyrie was healthy, they would have gone to the finals. Cassidy, I think they're going to the finals this year.
To me, that's the problem, though. I think there's more pressure on Kyrie in proving that he's healthy, because this is the second
That's a different issue, right?
That's a different issue, and so there is pressure mentally for him to show that he still is top-tier talent.
And the other thing is that is technically an expiring contract. I mean, he can walk away after this year. So I think that the idea that Kyrie's team right now, it's certainly Jason Tatum's team moving into the future the way he played.
I disagree with you guys about that. Dominique said the same thing. Yeah, Kyrie Irving at this stage of his career is a better player than Jason Tatum. I think the sky is the limit for Jason Tatum. But people who have not followed Kyrie's career closely, this guy's a 5-time All-Star. He's one of a handful of players, Cass, you know this, who can take over a game by himself. Right. He had a 57-point game once. When he gets going, he can't be stopped. The issue is what you brought up, Cassidy. His knees, his health. He's never been able to make it through an entire season completely healthy. That could derail the whole train. But if he's healthy, I would argue the Celtics are the favorites to come out of the East. And if he's 100% healthy, I think they're right there on a coin flip with the Warriors to win the whole thing.
See, I think that's why the pressure's on him, because people believe that they're the favorites and that they have a chance to maybe give the Warriors a run. And I think to your point earlier that he played well with those guys for the first 60 games, that's true, but those guys are different now. You can't pretend like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have the same expectations for their season this year that they had at the beginning of last season. They have different expectations. The fans have different expectations. The coaches have different expectations. And Kyrie Irving's going to have to find a way as the point guard and the best player on the team to integrate all those expectations. And if that does not work, then we're going to look at him. He's the new piece. He's the guy that they're adding in.
And it is incumbent on him. I mean, Gordon Hayward is going to be integrated into that offense as well. The idea that you're going to be able to find the touches that guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown expect, it's going to be incumbent on Kyrie to make the whole thing work.
One thing that will help is Brad Stevens is a fantastic coach. Cass, you know this. You deal with him a little bit in your NBA stuff. I'm so impressed with him. And this is coming from a Laker fan. I mean, it's in my blood to hate the Celtics. I can't hate Brad. I mean, you listen to him talk. You listen to the way he handles players. I think that will help. You say both you and Neek say it's incumbent upon Kyrie. I think Brad Stevens takes a lot of the lifting out of that.
I'm not an anti-Brad Stevens guy. Obviously, I think he's a tremendous coach. What he's done in the last 2 years have been fantastic. However, it's going to require some different skills from him this season. Like, he's been an overachiever the last couple of seasons. Managing superstars is a different skill. There are lots of guys who, well, I wouldn't say lots of guys. There aren't lots of coaches who can do what he did in the past year, but the skills that got him to where he is now may not be the skills that he needs next year. So let's not assume that just because Brad Stevens is there that he's going to make it all mesh well together.
Wait a minute. It already meshed already. But they were 44 and 16,
it's changed, though. It is changed.
He gets no credit for 44 and 16?
There's no way to deny what happened in the postseason this year. They became a different team without Kyrie Irving.